Coming up on Look Today. Well, the city of Saratoga Springs seeks ways to make housing more affordable. I've got details. And Congresswoman Elise Stefanik addresses the issue of invasive species in Lake George. More on that coming up. And we've got our weekly look at the movies with Jackson Murphy. I've got all these details. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone and happy Friday. I'm J. Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. In tonight's program I sit down with Heather Vorney. She's a development and foundation director for Saratoga Bridges and she's here to talk about the White Party event coming up this summer. And I also sit down with Kathy Neftali. She's a director of the Crandall Public Library in Glens Falls. She's here to talk about all the exciting events happening at the library this summer. Plus we have your weather for the Tri-North counties. But first, we've got these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, affordable housing in Saratoga County is having a huge impact on the quality of life issue. Now, according to the president of the Affordable Housing Group, Rocco Ferraro, 40% of Saratoga County residents make less than $50,000 in income. Now, what constitutes someone in need of affordable housing? Well, if a household is spending more than 30% of their income on shelter necessities, then the option of affordable housing should be made available to them. Now, in the current situation, incomes are not keeping up with the cost of living. 2/3 of the county's residents are spending more than 30% on shelter. Now, this means that more than half are living in a stressed situation. Well, this issue is very important to the city, in particular Mayor Joanne Yepsen. We spoke to her about this.
So our Housing Task Force is also doing a survey to survey employers as to what their needs are. So we are getting information and data currently at this moment, but we also have a couple of projects on the line. One that we're going to be announcing very soon, which will accommodate 14 more units for veterans, permanent housing, and then one that we're working on within the city limits that is going to involve a nice, diverse price points and fill that AMI gap that we're identified.
In other news, well, in support of her Invasive Species Stamp Act, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik spoke in Lake George Village today. The Congresswoman visited the Lake George boat washing facility to observe as well as participate in the inspection process of boats, which is now mandatory. The process will help battle against any foreign and unwanted species that could harm the ecology of Lake George. Well, Elise Stefanik's recent new legislation, Invasive Species Stamp Act, will not only address the issue statewide, but is also beginning to stimulate action and conversation on a national level. Well, we had the opportunity to speak to the Congresswoman.
My original co-sponsors are not just from New York State. I have an original co-sponsor from California, from Minnesota, so we're really hitting the different regions throughout the country, and I'm trying to encourage more and more co-sponsors because this truly is a national issue. It's a global issue, frankly, but it's New York, again, is at the epicenter, which is why you see so many members of the New York delegation as original co-sponsors.
We also spoke to the Executive Director of the Lake George Association, Walt Lender.
Well, her presence here at Lake George really helps us bring the awareness of invasive species to a national level. I mean, we've worked very hard on a local level, and I think we've been successful with that. On the state level, absolutely as well. But now to talk about invasives across the entire nation and a bill that she's sponsoring that could actually have an effect on this on a national level is just great.
And that's an issue that we're very interested in here at Look Media, so we're going to keep you informed on any and all stories related to this. Switching from news to weather. Well, today saw a slight decrease in temperatures and the sun came blasting out. So let's see how the weekend is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, we're going to head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. And back to the news. Well, when we were in Lake George this morning, we happened to notice that the Surfside Resort in Lake George had caught on fire earlier in the morning. The hotel resort, which is undergoing a major $10 million renovation, caught on fire. The Lake George Fire Department responded immediately and resolved the issue. Now, no serious damage was done to the building, and there were no reported injuries. And look, if we find out any more information about this, we'll let you know. In other news, the DEC has temporarily closed the Lake George Boat Launch and Inspection Station, which is located at Million Dollar Beach. Now, the station will be closed until June 17. The week-long motorcycle event, Americade, will be using that property parking lot under a license issued by the DEC. Boat inspections have been moved to another location. Now, it's time for our weekly look at the movies with Jackson Murphy. He's going to give us an update on new movies at home and in the theater.
Hi everybody, I'm Jackson Murphy. Here's this weekend's Look TV, Look at Movies. The heroes in a half shell are back. In Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, the Turtles battle old nemesis Shredder, along with a new villain played by Tyler Perry. Megan Fox and Will Arnett return to follow around the good guys. TMNT Out of the Shadows is rated PG-13. The mockumentary Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping stars Andy Samberg as an egotistical and clueless superstar pop singer who dominates the headlines for his wild behavior. Sandberg's Lonely Island comedy group wrote, directed, and produced this topical parody, which is rated R. And the date movie of the week is Me Before You, a romantic drama about a young woman who becomes the caretaker of and falls in love with a handsome but paralyzed young banker. Get out the tissues. Me Before You is rated PG-13. Leading the new at-home options this week is the biopic Race, with Stephan James as legendary track and field star Jesse Owens. Enjoy the movies, everybody, and I'll see you right back here next week. I'm Jackson Murphy.
Thank you, Jackson. I saw that movie Race, by the way. That is a great movie. All right, and remember, you can catch a look at the movies every Friday right here on Look TV. Up next, I sit down with Heather Varney. She's a development and foundation director for Saratoga Bridges. She's here to talk about the White Party event. You want to hear about that. Plus, I also sit down with Kathy Neftali. She's a director of the Crandall Public Library in Glens Falls. She's here to talk about all the exciting events happening at the library this summer. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea. How about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. And I want to thank Drew. This was a really well-written program tonight, so thank you, Drew. And while I'm thanking Drew, I might as well thank Andrew. And if I'm going to thank Andrew, I cannot forget to thank Jesselyn or Jack or Joel. They make this program possible each week. I have a couple of other lookouts, too. The other one goes to Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. We report a lot on her activities when she's in Congress, in session rather, and when she's up here in the home district. And she just really cares about the community, and this Invasive Species Act that she is sponsoring is really quite a great piece of legislation. All right, and I think the last one goes to Americade, and all you people that are participating in it, and all you people that are on the highway wondering where all these motorcycles are coming from, and all the people who are wondering where all the noise comes from. It's a great event, but everybody's got to be safe, and everybody's got to be careful. So please keep in mind that it's Americade. Tonight on Look TV, it's Beyond the Headlines, a new one, and Tracks, a lot of episodes of Tracks. And don't forget, you can tune in Monday night for the stories that matter to you. Have a safe weekend, everyone. Good night.